welcome to the pod. 2-piece on a
On a
pod.
pod.
Ooh, what you snacking on?
I'm snacking on a dark chocolate Hershey's truffle nugget thing.
What? Did you
Huh?
get that from the Hershey's place?
Yeah, so
Yeah, I knew you were going there.
I went to the Hershey's Chocolate World, and we got so many like candies and stuff like that. I got a plush.
Hmm? Oh my fucking god! It's a marshmallow.
Yeah, the little
With a smiley
marshmallow.
face. That is the
I love
cutest thing
him.
I've ever seen in my life.
I just like how doofy he looks.
No, he looks like a little goofy. Like there's no thoughts behind the eyes.
Yeah,
Oh my! I could cry. It's so cute.
it's soft too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then I also got a whole bunch of Jolly Ranchers.
Oh, they
And we
make
got-
Jolly Ranchers?
Yeah, I guess. I was surprised too.
I did not know that.
But yeah, and we got like all these like big bags of them of like candies. So we got like Rolos too. We have these, it's like dark chocolate Rolos though.
Can we
So
just say dark chocolate is the best chocolate?
You kind of spilled. Like it literally is.
I feel like the darker it gets, the better. I love a deep, rich, chocolatey taste. I'm a bitter girl. Anything bitter, I'm gonna eat that.
And then with like a little bit of like sea salt on it.
Or an almond or something. Ooh. So
But yeah. How was your week?
my week, honestly, it's been pretty good. I didn't do too much. I always say that, but like I never remember. But I've been trying to do things to like heal my inner child. So
I
I've been
love that.
Right? I'm trying to heal. This is the year of healing. But I started like playing with clay again. I think I was sending you like pictures of like
Yeah,
little clay
the
guys.
little
I used to
babies.
do that all the time when I was little, and I used to be like really, really good at it. And I want to get back into that. And like doing that was like really therapeutic. So I'm just trying to find things like that, like artistically, that kind of like make me feel good. So I did that this week. What about you? How was your week? Besides the Hershey's.
My week was a bit tumultuous.
Tumultuous.
It was a bit up and down, I have to say.
Hmm.
I started it off well. On the weekend, I spent time with my mom, and we went out and we had lunch, and we just went to all these different shops near where I work, because I was telling her about all the shops near my job. And one of them is a used and rare bookstore. So they have like all these cool books. Some of them are from like the 30s and stuff like that. Like they had like a first edition book from 1930 something, and they had it for sale for like $950 because it was like a first edition, you know.
Whoa.
So but then they also just had like used books that people like, I guess, sold or donated to the place, or that they
So
find
some
it.
of them are like discounted books because they're used.
Yeah, so it's like some of them are like old books from like the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, and some of them are like really rare books.
Okay.
And those ones are like the expensive ones. So like I wanted to check out the store because of a specific book or a set of books, and it was a set of Shakespeare's works. And it was like a cherry red leather bound set with like gold leaf on it.
That's pretty.
Yeah, it was so pretty. And it was each of like, it was like the different genres of Shakespeare. So there was like Shakespeare poems or sonnets, and the comedies, the tragedies, and it was just like, and I wanted to see if it was like 185 or 135, whatever it said on the tag for each, or for like the set. But I was still up in the air about getting them in the first place, but I just wanted to see.
Yeah.
And so we go, and they had like other things too. They had like old like rare copies of like Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights.
Ooh.
And they had all kinds of stuff, and they had like all these cool books and stuff like that in editions. And they had like a Jane Austen like complete works book that I tossed around the idea of getting. But I found a book that is kind of a complete works, but it's missing 2 works by the author. It's a James Joyce book from like 1967, and it was like $12, and it has like 4 out of his 6 works, I think. So I got that because I was interested in checking his stuff out.
Have you read his stuff before?
I don't think so. Not that I remember, but he is a bit of like a famous writer. I think he's like a famous Irish writer.
Oh,
And
we love Ireland over here.
A musician that I like said that James Joyce was like an inspiration to how he writes lyrics. So
that's cool.
And I had always been like curious about him. I'd like heard about him before. So I was like, oh, I kind of want to check it out now. So yeah, I have that. I'm very excited about it. It's really cool. It's from 1967.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Vince.
After that, it was a bit downhill though.
Oh no.
Yeah. So like on Monday, I woke up and I kind of like checked in with myself and I was like, not today. I was like, I can't do this today. I got my period this week. No. So I was just like really, the emotions were a little difficult. I think I had like a manic episode on Sunday. Oh. And it was like a lot. Like it was very strong. And I was very exhausted and I was very freaked out, and it kind of carried over into Monday. So I was like, I don't think I can do this today. So I just kind of stayed home and chilled out, relaxed, and I felt better. And then I went to work Tuesday, Wednesday, and today. But it's been like really fucking hectic at my job. Oh my I was God. Talking about it before about like with the registrations and shit like that. Yeah. But it's just been, it's just so much. And then my immediate boss that handles all that is going on vacation next week. So I'm gonna be even worse. It's gonna be all me, basically.
That's such a change up, because you were saying like last week, you're like, oh, I don't really do that much,
well, yeah, because it's slow season and there's not really like yeah. So then she was like, I need you to do all this, and now I have a stack of things to take care of.
But it might be nice to do that because the day.
Yeah, I definitely don't hate it because it'll give me something to do and it'll make the days pass. But I'm not excited for the amount of people that are probably gonna call me and give me attitude and yell at me because things are sold out and I'm trying my best,
Are the customers kind of mean on the phone?
Or yeah, they're all rich people.
Yeah.
So they're all entitled.
Yeah.
Like it's so exhausting. It's so, because like today, this like lady, I called this lady because she had sent over a scan of her form that she had filled out. And she wanted like, there's like this dinner section where it's like all these different restaurants and you choose one to go to. And the one that she chose had been sold out. So I had to call her and ask her if she wanted to do like a different one because obviously it was sold out. I couldn't get her in there. And so I called, but she never answered. So I left a message, and then I get a call back, and her sister-in-law, who's like also a member and also registered, she like immediately out the gate is like fucking attitude, yelling at me, mad as hell. And I was like, whoa. And by now, like I leave work at like 5 or 5:30 or whatever, but the hours go until 5. Like we technically close at 5. So it was like 4:45 at this point. No. And I was like, I called you hours ago. And so she's like immediately out the gate, tossing all this shit at me, and I'm tired as hell. My caffeine wore off because I'm also trying to cut back on my caffeine intake.
What? This is news to me.
I know. So I am, because I've been having like 2 coffees a day, but it's like I have one coffee that's like a 12 ounce or whatever, and then I have like a fucking giant coffee halfway through the day. But I'm trying to limit that.
Is there a reason? Does it just make you not feel good?
Well, yeah, it kind of gives me bubble guts, but I just feel like it's not really I don't need it, you know, like I feel
Yeah.
like I can chill out, you know, also to save money because I buy my coffee halfway through the day. So,
Oh,
but yeah, this lady's like attacking me and shit, and I'm tired and I'm over it. And
yeah. How
I
do you
was just
not
trying to,
cry in those situations? I feel like if anyone's screaming at me on the phone, I cry.
well, I just remember that they're fucking stupid. So,
True, true.
you know, and because the thing is this lady was like, well, we're going together, and like, I got into this one place, but whatever. And so I asked, I was like, well, did you register online? Because the lady that was yelling at me was not the lady that I
Made
was
the
calling
reservation.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, but she had signed up separately online. And so I was like, well, did you register with her as a guest? The lady was like, well, no, we registered separately. I was like, okay, well then I can't give her the spot because it's sold out. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I was like, I just wanted to know if you wanted to do a different diet. It was like literally this, I literally just called to be like, hey, this is what we have available. What are you into? You know? But
And they
no,
won't accept it. They will be like,
she
I
was
want
just
that
yelling
day,
at
that
me.
time.
She was like, well, when I registered, I got this spot. I was like, that's nice, but I'm not talking about you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you think
I
that's
mean,
gonna
did
accomplish.
things end up resolved or like what happened at the end of
Well,
it?
not really,
Okay.
because she was like talking about how she sent the form, which I was literally looking at the fucking form that she sent. She's like, I emailed the form, or we emailed the form, and I was like, yes, I know, I'm looking at it right now. So I printed it out, and but I wasn't the one that originally got the email. It was my boss,
Right.
and so I was like, well, I'm not the one that received the email. I just got a printout of it. And so she's like, well, who received the email? Can we talk to that person? I want to talk to that person.
Oh my god.
And I was like, okay, let me see if she's fucking available. Hold. And then I went to my boss and I was like, you need to talk to her because I'm gonna hurt a bitch's feelings. And she was
So do
like,
you
okay.
when you pass on a call like that, do you go to the boss's office or do you like call them and
I
then
don't know. I don't know how to call their office and say
I'm
like,
just
hey, it's for
curious.
you. I well, the office is small, so I just walk out
Uh
of my office and I'm like, there's a call on line one for you.
it's probably easier that way. You don't have to click a bunch
Yeah.
of buttons or
And
whatever.
the phones are really confusing, so I
I'm
just don't.
sure. Are they like the old kind?
No, not really.
No.
It's just like, I don't know. My brain gets a little jumbled sometimes, and I'm just like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to press
Yeah.
the wrong button because these people are annoying.
Are you the kind of person who's tech savvy but not at the same time?
Yeah.
Me too. I swear I used to be able to do everything on a computer, but now I'm like, I'm an old woman. I don't know how to
Well,
use technology.
yeah. I like when it comes to like phones and stuff like that, like my phone, I don't really know how to use, not like my cell phone, like the
Like
office phone.
office phones, yeah.
Because
Those
I'm
are
not
difficult. They have like all kinds of
yeah,
buttons.
because I'm not really used to it.
Hmm.
And no one uses the like transfer feature anyway.
Right.
So because the office is tiny, so it doesn't really matter. Um, I just get up, and if I need to, I just write down a message if they're not available. Um, but yeah, so I walked over and I was like, "You need to get that because I can't fucking do this anymore." And so she did. I explained the whole situation, and she was like, "Okay, okay, don't worry about it. I got it." And so yeah, but she never gave a fucking answer.
So you don't
So
really know what happened.
well, now I'm gonna have to deal with it next week, I guess.
Oh god. Or hopefully like they'll simmer down and then it'll be
Well,
like kind
yeah,
of easier.
because the thing is like she came out the gate mad at me, and I was like, my message was not mean. I don't know why you're yelling at me. I'm just trying to do my job. I literally just asked. All I said in my message was, hey, the thing that you chose is sold out. There's nothing available. We have other things available. Call me back and let me know what you want to do. And she was like, excuse me. I was like,
Oh my god. You know what? That lady was acting a bit toxic.
toxic.
You could say that's a
Wow.
toxic trait.
Her
Wait.
toxic trait is being a Karen.
Yes. Wait a minute. And our
Our
topic for the
is
day.
toxic traits.
Toxic traits. Oh my god, what a
Wow.
transition.
What a segue.
Do you have toxic traits? I feel like everyone has to have
Everyone has toxic traits.
Yeah.
Everyone has at least one. And I
I
think
feel like I have a lot of them.
here's the well, yeah. Here's the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. You're like, what do you mean by that? No, but I just mean like everyone has at least one,
Yeah.
usually more than one.
It's a human thing.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a normal thing, but where it gets toxic is what you do about it.
Yeah.
You know, because I do have toxic traits. Everyone has toxic traits, and a lot of the times, most of the times, it comes from trauma. It comes from the way
That's what I
you've
was gonna
been
say.
treated.
It's a
Yeah,
trauma response. Most toxic traits, because I was
exactly.
trying to think of
Defense
mine, and
mechanisms.
I'm like, oh well, you know what? That's definitely a trauma
Yeah,
response.
they're all defense mechanisms.
But at the same time,
And
it's like, how do you? It's like you've been through the stuff, and you know that you act this way, but there's a way you could
yeah,
change how you do it. But it's hard
exactly.
to sometimes when you're already set in those ways.
Exactly. And it's really
Yeah.
up to you, you know? So it's like if you got treated a certain way and you developed this trait that's a toxic trait,
Mm-hmm.
um, unchecked, it can, you know, cause issues. It can cause harm. It can really ruin relationships. It can
Yes.
make things difficult for you. You know, you could be self-sabotaging and you're like, I don't know what's going on, but you're subconsciously sabotaging yourself in your relationships because, you know, that um, behavior is learned, and you know, old habits die hard. And so that's the thing. Like toxic traits, I don't think um are inherently evil.
Yeah. They don't have to
I
come from a bad place. It could just be something
exactly
that
exactly and I
happens
don't
naturally.
think, and I think it really depends on the person, because there's some people that know they have toxic traits but do nothing about it and they don't care who it harms.
Yeah.
There's some people that don't know that they have toxic traits and keep at it because they obviously don't know, they don't know what to do to fix it, and so they harm people. And then there's some people that do have toxic traits but don't want to hurt people, want to counteract it and do the best that they can to, you know, counteract it and like hold
Yeah.
it
But
back
it
and
can be hard sometimes.
oh definitely, it can be so difficult to
It's something
unlearn.
to work on. That's what
Yeah,
I've been like trying to do too. It's kind of like crazy that this came up as like the topic on the wheel, because like all week I've been thinking about like
exactly, me
the
too.
different like things that I do that are like toxic traits or trauma
Yeah,
responses. And I'm like,
yeah,
well, where does that stem from? Why do I do this? Why do I
yeah,
react this way? And how can I change the way I do that
exactly.
to better my life and the people around me? So it is kind of like coincidental that
Yeah,
that
and I was also having the same thing. I was
yeah.
literally just thinking about like, you know, like a lot, some things that I do, like stepping back and be like, okay, well, why do I do that? Or why am I feeling this way right now? Why do I want to talk to this person? Why do I want to, you know, do this thing? Like why, you know? So like, what toxic traits do you think you have?
I feel like one that's a big one for me. I tend to isolate myself and like shut everyone else out when I'm feeling a certain way when I shouldn't. And I know it hurts the people around me. But at the same time, I feel like in a way it's a control thing because you can control your isolation.
Mhm.
But then when you like aren't isolated, you can't control that. So maybe it's that. I don't know.
And also, I feel like it's like an independence thing
Yeah.
because I have the same thing. And it's because when I was growing up, I was kind of left to my own devices, you know,
Same.
because my brother needed a little more help when it came to school, for example. And
Mm.
so if I had struggles with school, I felt like I couldn't rely on anyone because, you know, oh, well, he has bigger issues than me. So, or I should have this figured out, you know. And I feel like you probably have a similar experience with the way that, you know, you've had to grow up a little earlier than you probably should
Yeah.
have. And so we kind of took on the role of caretakers and people
Right.
pleasers. So I noticed that isolation when it comes to emotions, like going ghost and not answering people and maybe dealing with your shit on the side and then getting back to the world, that is like a result of that, I
Yeah.
noticed.
I agree
And
100%.
it's like really interesting because it's hard to break it
Yeah.
because you feel so weird when you're like, okay, well, I have someone that I can rely on, and you go to that person, you talk to them, and you feel so guilty. You
Yes,
know,
yeah.
it's so
So I
hard.
always
It's
feel
so
guilty like
hard.
opening up about how I feel, and I know that the people I
Exactly.
talk to, they don't care. I mean, they care about how I feel, but they
Yeah,
don't care
but
that I'm
they don't
talking about it.
exactly.
Like,
They don't see it as like
and
a
it's like a
bad
big
thing.
deal to me in my head. I'm like, oh my god, I probably shouldn't have
Exactly.
said all that, and
And
then I
it's funny.
overthink it.
It's
Yeah.
funny because we literally had this moment today where like we were talking, you were voicing some concerns to me, and you're like, oh, I feel bad, I feel like I'm, doing something bad. And
Like
I
I'm
was like,
always
you're
saying
not.
it's about stuff.
You literally always say it. It's so funny. And it's funny because I'll be like, no, you're not. It's good to get your emotions out. Like, I'm here for you. And then when it comes to my emotions, I'm like, I can't talk to anyone. I feel bad. Like, I feel like I'm doing a bad thing, So it's like, it's weird because it's like when it comes to other people, I'm like, no, you're valid. But then when it comes to me and I'm in the same situation, I'm like, no, I can't burden people with this.
It's so weird how we can't treat ourselves with the same respect we give other
It's
people.
really annoying.
I hate it. It's like, why can't I see myself from that perspective too?
It's so
like,
annoying.
Hello, what's going on?
And I've definitely like had moments where I'm like, okay, well, if this was my friend, how would I react? And it's difficult to do that
with yourself.
It's difficult to take your head out of yourself and then be like, okay, well, let's say, Lennon was in this exact same situation that I'm going through. Well, how would I react? Because then my head's like, well, it's not Lennon, is it? It's you, bum bitch, So it's like, what the hell am I supposed to do?
Yes.
What other toxic traits do you think you have?
Oh, I was just thinking of one. Well, people pleasing, that was one.
Yeah.
I'm such a people pleaser, but overthinking as well. Because I feel like that always sabotages like everything 100%. I do in life. But then also that makes me psychic because I know every outcome that's
well, that's the thing. That's the double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we have the same toxic traits.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Because you're naming all the ones that I was thinking of.
Similar, yeah.
And I feel like they all come from people pleasing.
100%. It all stems from like that same place. It's all from childhood.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I saw a really good video, and it was about it was a reel on Instagram, but it was a reposted TikTok, and someone duetting a TikTok, and in the TikTok, in the original TikTok, this girl was talking about how she had given a guy a chance despite not being attracted to him, but he was attracted to her, so she wanted to give him a chance. And then this person duetted it and was like, here's why that's actually a terrible thing.
Yeah.
And they explained that it's not doing you any favors, it's not doing the person any favors, and it stems from people pleasing because you feel bad that you don't like have
something.
So it's like when someone shows you interest, you feel bad if you don't show interest in return. So you go out with them despite this because you don't want to upset them, but then it becomes something even bigger, and it becomes something like you get trapped in, and you upset them even more because you kind of gave them that false like hope. It's just like, you gave them that false hope because they're into you, but you're not really into them, but you're like, oh, but I feel bad. Both people, exactly. And like, you find that you're not interested in what they're talking about, whenever they do something for you, you're like, okay, whatever, because you're not into them.
I've definitely fallen into that before.
Yeah, me too. I've definitely like, not that I went out with people that I wasn't somewhat interested in, but I felt like I was just like, okay, well, I guess I'm kind of like intrigued by this person, or I'm interested enough, and I kind of forced myself to go out with people just because I was tired of being alone, and I felt bad that like, I didn't want to say no. Like they asked me out and I didn't want to say no.
It's so hard saying no because when someone like shows interest, it's like, well, I guess now I have to.
Yeah,
because
it's
there's
like
so many times where that doesn't happen, and it's like
exactly, especially when you come from, like you said, when you come from like not having that at all.
Yeah.
When you're younger and then immediately you get older. Like when I was in middle school and high school, like I was not flirted with, I was not asked out, I did not have any dates to any dances, like I was part of the nerd pack in high school. So it's like I wasn't hit on. And then when I get into college, when I got older, that's when people started showing interest in me. So it was very strange. So I felt like, oh, well, I never had this before. I should just take what I can get.
Which is not a good thing, but it's so hard not to at the same time.
Yes, exactly. Because then you also have another thing where people show interest in you and you're like, oh, well, I immediately show interest back because, you know, that's how this is supposed to work.
Right. And then you're like, is it real? Is it not?
Yes, exactly. Like, am I
You're
just,
left in that.
do I
Yeah.
just like them back because they liked me, or do I like them back because I'm genuinely interested in them? It's so difficult.
Oh
It's
my
so
God. There was
difficult.
this guy like a couple months ago. I went on a couple of dates with him, and like each date I was like, I didn't enjoy this. I didn't like this. But then he would ask to go on another date, and I'm like, okay, I guess. I guess this wasn't
I
a
think
couple
I
months ago. This
remember
was a
you.
while back.
I feel like I remember you telling me something like that,
Yeah.
and I was like,
And
"Don't
I'm
go
like,
out with
why am I doing? Yeah. And then
it."
eventually I dropped him, and you know, you end up finding better people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When you actually give a chance to like the things you really like. And I feel like a toxic trait I have too is I push down the things I like to please other people. I
Yeah.
always like put down my own interests, and for the longest time I like stopped liking the things I liked or stopped doing the things I enjoyed to please other people. It comes back to the people pleasing thing. But then once you like go back to like the things you used to like, it heals that inner child like I was talking about
Exactly.
earlier, and then you
Exactly.
feel like better. I don't know. So that's another thing I've been trying to work on
Yeah.
with my toxic traits.
I feel like my toxic traits, I do this thing where I think it's like a subconscious fear of, I don't want to say commitment, but like fear of eventual vulnerability.
Mm,
And I do this thing where even if I am interested in someone, um, I kind of convince myself that they're boring
right.
to make myself lose interest so that like I don't have to risk getting into a relationship, you
I've done
know?
that. I get you on that one.
And I think it goes back to the fact that I do have like a lot of unresolved things that still need healing and that I'm quote unquote ashamed of, which you know, I'm not, but like I am. And it's like I don't want and I also feel like I get so caught up in um people's idea of me versus the real me, and I want to
Yeah.
uphold that like to the highest degree. So I'm afraid that if I get vulnerable with someone, then they'll be like, "Oh, you're not at all as I imagined," and then
Oh, I
drop
know that
me,
feeling. I know
you
that
know.
feeling.
So then I'm just like, so then I maintain this idea that they have of me, or I maintain a fantasy version of myself, you know, a stereotypical aesthetic version of myself, and you know, I try to gauge like how are they viewing me right now, and how do I fit that, you
Oh
know?
my God. And it sucks when you accidentally slip up and do something that's kind of out of character.
Yeah,
And then it's like, I always do that.
exactly.
So I can relate to you on
and
that. We
and
do
it
the same toxic
exactly
traits.
we do, and I think that also goes back to the people pleasing because like
Yeah.
you want to like I don't know, it's just like you don't want to disappoint someone, and but it also it creates so much pressure
Right.
because like sure it that may be a facet of my personality, or you know whatever it is I'm tapping into might be a part of me, but it's not completely me. And if you're going out with someone, if you're getting to know someone, if you want to be in a relationship with someone, that person, you'll know that that person is a good like a good match for you if you show all sides to yourself and they you know take it and
Yeah.
cherish it. So it's like that's definitely been stressful for me, especially since like I've been like single my entire life. So you know I used to do, and this was, I don't do this anymore, but this was back when I was like in college and I was not in the best place mentally, and so like I would just kind of get whatever I could. But yeah, I'm trying to think of other toxic because we have the same ones and you've already like
Yeah.
named the ones that I thought of.
Let me think of
Um,
some too.
hmm.
I guess we're not that toxic.
Well, the thing
um,
is, you know what it is? It's because like whatever I, whatever toxic traits I do have, I actively work against them.
right.
You know, so it's like, and I mean, like we're human. We're obviously not going to be perfect. Like, you know, people like friends make you upset or whatever, and but instead of like acting out on them, and that's what I was saying before, it's like it's not really about the toxic trait, it's what you do about it. So it's like if you have the toxic trait of like being paranoid every time someone's tone somewhat switches up on you, and like accusing them, but like not like ghosting them, but like immediately accusing them, like, oh my god, you're mad at me, you're mad at me, and doing that kind of stuff, and like immediately going into defense mode. Like,
I feel like I'm the opposite version of that. Like when someone's tone changes with me, I do get paranoid about it, but I keep it inside.
Yeah,
And
well,
like,
that's me.
Yeah,
That's me. I do that. But I'm just saying that like there's people that act on it,
yeah,
and then that causes issues. So it's like the difference with it is, do you act on it or do you catch it, take a step back and say, okay, why do I feel this way? What has this person done that justifies these accusations? You know, like if you're in a relationship with someone and you text your boyfriend or girlfriend or partner, whatever it is, and they don't get back to you right away, and immediately you're like, oh my god, they're cheating on me because in a past relationship you got cheated on. You have to take a step back and you have to be like, why do I think that? Okay,
yeah,
because this ex cheated on me. Okay, is it fair to hold this person to that standard?
especially if they've never shown signs of that before.
Exactly, especially if
they
they've
don't give you
never
a reason not to trust.
Exactly. And they're two different people.
Exactly.
You know?
But so it's so hard not to draw from past experience.
Exactly.
I feel like that's the whole human thing, because everything's survival, you know what I mean?
And especially since like being cheated on is something so pivotal. It really tears you down because it makes you feel like, was I not good enough? You know, like, was I not enough for you?
Because when you put so much trust into a person and then it's like swept away.
Yeah, and that like trust and it also is like disrespectful. Like you feel like they didn't respect you.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, immediately you go to that thought because that has been your past. So then you know, I feel like I tend to catch myself like, okay, why do I feel this way? Okay, well, it's because so and so did this to me. Well, it's not fair for me to judge this person based on what that person did. Okay, well, let me calm down. Let me play a game. Let me read a book. Let me watch a video. Let me chill out. Let me give them time to respond or to do this or to do that. Because the reality is, a lot of the times, the reality is that person may not have seen your message, may have seen it, but couldn't get back to you right away, may be thinking of a response.
And they have their own life. Who knows what's going on?
Exactly. So it's like, if you have these past experiences that have been traumatic or that have been hard on you, that cause you to have these behavioral things, these traits, I mean, this is, I always do is just like, take a second, check in with yourself and ask yourself those questions. Like, why do I feel this way? Has this person shown any signs that I should feel this way? Has this person done this to me before? Am I feeling this way because of a past friendship or relationship or whatever it is? So it's just like it's really, it all goes down to like what you do about the toxic trait rather than the toxic trait
itself. Yeah, because everyone's gonna have a toxic trait. Everyone's gonna have that.
Everyone's
the way you go about dealing with it.
Yeah, it's survival tactics.
Other people and yourself.
Exactly. It's just how you learn to survive.
For sure. Yeah.
But
my issue is I need to stop hurting myself with my own toxic
Exactly. I was just about to say that.
For me, my toxic traits, I feel like they hurt other people less than they hurt myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe I need to gain more like self-respect. And in a way, I do respect myself a lot, and I am confident in myself. But there's also like another side of me where I'm like, I hate this bitch. She's the worst.
It's weird.
It's like
so
a double-sided coin.
Yeah, because it's like,
what is it gonna be today?
Exactly. Like same with me. Like I do respect myself, and I do, you know, I am confident. But it's weird because I do also catch myself like sacrificing my own peace of mind and you know, putting my own needs on the back burner just to please someone else.
And it's so weird. It's so hard to get out of that habit because I still
Yeah,
can't get out of that habit. I am the
exactly.
most peopleist pleaser like there ever pleaser there ever is in the world. I will please
Yeah,
everyone before myself like a million
exactly.
times over. And like,
Exactly.
well, lately again, like I'm saying, I'm trying to do things more for myself, but it's so hard even like
Mhm.
trying because I'm still stuck in
Yeah.
a loop of like, oh no, are they gonna be mad at me if I don't do
Yeah.
this? Or like I don't want to deal with the pressure of like having like the vibe change if I do something a little
Yeah,
bit
or someone being mad at you for
yeah.
like putting
Or
up a boundary.
right. Or me thinking or they're mad at me because
Yeah,
I'm like crazy
exactly.
like that.
And it's really, it is really hard. I mean, when 2022 like came around, I
Mm.
kind of like had a moment with myself where I was like, all right, no more, cut the bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna start living for you and you're gonna start doing what you want and you're gonna be more positive. Because like I was people pleasing, I was there for people rather than being there for myself. And I was like accepting people's pain and like problems, and
You're not
I
taking
was
care
like,
of your own stuff.
yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like taking that mantle from them, and you know, I was so negative and I was so upset all the time. And so when 2022 came around, I was like, no, I'm going to be more positive and I'm going to, you know, put my foot down and I'm going to establish like boundaries and stuff like that. And it's very clear who is your real friend and who isn't, and who is just using you as an outlet when you establish boundaries. Because,
True.
you know, when you establish a boundary and you're like, hey, yeah, and you stick up for yourself and you're like, that wasn't cool, that made me uncomfortable, that hurt my feelings, and the person immediately tries to turn it around on you like, oh well, you did this, you did that, oh you're hurting my now you're being very rude to me, you didn't have to say it that mean, you know, then it's like, okay, well that person isn't really your friend.
True. Because a real
Because
friend would be someone who would apologize and then correct
yeah,
the way they've treated you.
a real friend would be like, I'm so sorry, thank you for telling me, how can I, you know,
Change.
change, like
Yeah.
what can I do to mend this and to do better in the future, or thank you for letting me know I will do better in the future.
You're so right about that though, because there's so many people when you start setting boundaries, they'll be like mad at you
They get mad
about
as
it.
hell.
But then again, it could also stem back to them having a toxic trait of like being betrayed in the past and like acting out. And that goes back to like how you
Act on
go
your
about
toxic
it.
trait,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's hard because it's like, then you're in a position where you're like, I sympathize with this person because I know what that is probably stemming from. But
Yeah.
it also doesn't justify the way
The
that
way
they're
they
treating
treat
you.
you. Yeah.
Because it's like everyone has gone through things. And, you know, you can be there for someone, but if that person is like not taking steps to try and heal themselves and move past what they've been through and not let it affect other people and themselves, then it's like you really have to just take that plunge and, you know, do something for yourself. Because at the end of the day, like, no one is going to change them. You're not going to heal them. You're not going to
Mhm.
change them. And you have to remember that, because it's like they're the only ones that can do the work. Just like you're the only one that can do the work for your healing and stuff like that. What are some silly toxic traits that you have? So it's
Silly.
like,
Oh, I was
people on
thinking about that
Twitter,
too.
you know how people on Twitter are like, my toxic trait is eating a spoonful of peanut butter at late at night. You know, like shit like that. Like, what is a silly
Oh
toxic
my
trait?
god, I gotta think about that. Oh, well, last night I could not sleep, so I binge ate like a bunch of goldfish crackers or whatever. That's my toxic trait. It's so silly. What's a silly one for you?
um, I think what did I say that one time? I think my toxic trait is actually believing that I could pull my celebrity crushes.
Oh yeah. No, I'm the same way though. No, because I feel like okay. I feel like with us, we got something about us. We could probably pull anyone we wanted.
Yeah,
I'm not even like fronting. I really think we could.
yeah. Like, I mean, I'm realistic. Like, I don't look like Bella Hadid, but I feel like I could pull people.
Cause there's okay, I feel like there's a difference with like being super like conventionally attractive and being attractive to people.
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of people I find really pretty, but that doesn't mean I'm attracted to them.
You know what, you're right. There's a lot of people that I find visually appealing, but like I wouldn't want to have a conversation with them.
No, for real. I feel like people who have something about them, it's like how they carry themselves.
Yeah.
It's more attractive than like how
like
someone physically looks.
Like a level of intrigue.
Yeah. It's the swagger.
Mm-hmm.
We got the swagger, love.
I'm trying to think. Would red flags be a good thing to talk about for toxic traits
definitely,
in this episode?
Definitely.
Because I didn't we have like a list of all the topics that we came up for the podcast, and I don't know if red flags are on there.
Well, we can talk about them. If it's on there, we'll just skip it because we'll talk about it here.
Yeah.
So I feel like a red flag if a man has blonde hair. How do we feel? Once I was quote unquote dating a guy. He had dark hair when we started dating, and then he went blonde. Things immediately ended.
I'm so weak.
Well, it was just like he was like, "What purple shampoo should I use?" And I'm like, "We can't."
Oh my god, anymore. I remember that.
I'm like, "We can't talk anymore."
You're like, "I'm done."
That was the same person I went on a bunch of dates with and convinced myself I liked them just because they liked me.
I'm so weak. I remember that.
That was tough for me.
Let me see. A red flag. It's funny because I was about to say something, but then I realized that like all the people that like I feel attracted to have these. I was gonna say like a red flag is like Chelsea boots.
Oh no, but like okay, people who you're attracted to can definitely have red flags. I'm more attracted than red flags because red is an attractive color.
I'm so weak. No, but like these are superficial. Know. These are superficial red flags. Like I feel like so okay. I feel like well, the thing is a red flag for men is just everything.
Yeah.
Because like everything that they do, it's like I don't know. Because I was gonna say like well-dressed men are a red flag as well. But then a poorly dressed man is a red flag as well.
Yeah. Men are just red flags?
Maybe just like an average dressed man.
That's even worse.
You're right.
That's even worse.
No, but let me think. Oh my god.
It's so hard to think of them.
It's not even hard to think of them. It's just hard to think of ones that aren't on people that I have crushes on.
What about music taste? Do you have like a red flag for what they listen to?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I'm like Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah. I feel like, okay, a lot of guys listen to Kanye, but I'm scared of men who listen to Kanye because they all have a certain kind of like ego to them.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Music red flags.
Music red flags. Here we go.
I feel like
Weezer.
I was gonna say the Strokes, but it's funny because like we both love the Strokes.
No, but it is.
But I feel like it's different for men. Yeah, because I feel like okay, guitar players, red flag.
Yeah.
Because you know, like guitar guys.
Oh, 100%. Like, they always show up everywhere with a fucking guitar. They have their acoustic guitar, the campfire, and they're like, "Let me play the song I learned."
I have a story. Did I tell this? I think I told it on the podcast already. I know I told you. It's the one about me going to like a middle school graduation party for my friend, and there was a guy that had a guitar for some reason, and he was like, "Oh, let me play you one of my original songs."
Oh, God.
Okay, I guess I didn't tell it. I think I told you or I told someone, but I don't know. I'll retell it if I did already. So, and this ties into red flags because this guy was 100% a red flag. He had like Miles Teller energy though. Anyways, so I was at this party. I didn't know anyone at this party because I was there for my friend who the party was for. But
wait, was this the party you did the Shakespeare?
No.
Or no, this is a different party. Okay.
This was when I was in middle school.
Oh, middle school. Okay.
When I said when I would, this was for middle school because I the thing that you're thinking of, I think, is when I went to
on the rooftop party.
It was a rooftop party in Brooklyn when I was in college, and I was like really fucking drunk. And so a way for me to prove that I wasn't was that I would recite Shakespeare. Yeah. But I didn't get past like the first line.
That's iconic D lore.
It
That is
is.
your
I do
lure.
it all
I
the
think about
time.
that all the time, though.
You
That's
have a
so-
video of it.
I do.
I was like 3 drinks in when we were like seeing a show one time, and you were like, I was like, no, I'm fine. I can recite Shakespeare. And you were like, do it. And you had like a camera in my face. And I was like, and I did it. I think I did the whole thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, that time I was like really fucked up. But anyway, so this time I was like 14. And so picture it, 2014, Tumblr era, The Mother We Share is playing. You know that song by what's that group called? Churches.
Oh yeah.
But like instead of U, it's like a V. That group, The Mother We Share by Churches is playing. I think it's by Churches. And it's 2014. People are wearing chokers. It's like, you know, American Apparel, that kind of vibe. And I'm at this party that's at my friend's house. I've known her since birth, so that's why I was there. But I didn't know anyone else there because I did not go to her school. We lived in different towns. And so she had all these, and the town that she lived in was kind of like ritzy. Excuse me. So all the people there were super pretentious.
Oh no.
So I was in like a group where like we were all sitting in a group, and this guy has an acoustic guitar. I don't know where he got it. He very clearly brought it with him because my friend does not play guitar.
Acoustic guitar guys are worse than electric guitar guys.
They are.
There's funny thing wrong with them.
No, because like the funny thing is that like I'll text you this later because it's kind of personal. So he has an acoustic, and so he like turns to me and he's like, oh my god, like, you want to hear a song that I wrote? And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, like that's kind of cool. And by this time I had already started my indie music kind of vibe, so I was already listening to like Arctic Monkeys and indie music and shit like that, and thinking I was like hot shit. But
because you are.
Yeah, because I am. No, but like I was thinking I was like elite, you know, I had elite music taste. You know, like how when you're 14. And so he was like, oh, let me play you like my original song. And I was like, okay, sure. And so, and I was just glad that anyone was talking to me because I didn't know anyone there. So he starts playing a song. I immediately recognize it. And
oh, so it's not an original.
It was not his song.
He's like, this is an original.
But he's like, I wrote this. And I was like, okay, sick. But he starts playing it and I immediately recognize it. But I didn't say anything. I let him play the entire song. And because I just thought it was funny. And I was like, and I was kind of like thinking to myself, I was like, well, he's not like doing a bad job. Like he was playing it well and he was singing it well. But like I was
to claim it as his own. That's so
yeah,
funny.
it was so funny. And so then he finished, he was like, well, what'd you think? And I was like, well, first of all, that's a Passenger song. And he was just like,
something wrong with people who love Passenger and play Passenger songs.
It was Let Her Go by Passenger. It was Let Her Go by Passenger. It wasn't even like it wasn't even like some obscure Passenger song. It was Let Her Go.
Oh
it was so funny. Because he was like, well, what'd you think about my song? And I was like, well, first off, that's a Passenger song. And he was like, oh, and his face dropped.
He really thought he was gonna pull you.
He thought he was gonna pull the wool over my fucking eyes. Yeah. I was like, what the hell do I look like? I was like, what do I look like? And so I was like, yeah, I mean, but you did a good job, I guess. And he was like, oh, well, I was just like playing a joke. I was just testing you. And I was like, okay. And then like some girl sat on his lap and he pulled out a pill bottle and they all popped pills. And I was like, okay, sick.
In middle school?
In middle school, 14 years old.
What?
It was so crazy. But yeah, guitar guys are fucking crazy. If you're at a party and a guy is playing, oh my God, do you remember that guy on TikTok? He had a guitar and he made these videos. And one of them was he would like put a scarf or something over his head or like a jacket over his head and pretend to be a girl. And like, so he would pretend to be at like a house party. And so he would pretend to be a girl. And
I never saw these.
You 100% did. And so like he first of all, I had a dream about this. Me telling this story. So he would pretend to be the girl and he would be like, oh my god, like, you know how to play guitar? And it would go to him with the guitar. He'd be like, oh yeah. And then like the one video was him going like, oh my god, play Arctic Monkeys. And so then he starts playing like the most like famous songs, right?
Oh, right.
Really badly, not good.
Okay.
And so he starts playing them, and she's like, that's not Arctic Monkeys. He was like making fun of girls that like ask people to play like indie artists, but they don't actually know this. And so then he kind of like blew up on Twitter with like the Arctic Monkeys fans. And I remember this was back when I had a TikTok, and I went to and I was kind of feeling a bit salty because I was like, what the fuck? My favorite genre of comedy, misogyny. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You know what? Another red flag for men is listening to Arctic Monkeys. Arctic Monkeys men. I love how I say this, but the guy listen, the guy I'm going out with is the Strokes and Arctic Monkeys like mega fan. So
bro, we're both describing guys that we were into.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, the funny thing is that like Arctic Monkeys aren't inherently a pretentious band. It's
but
just
their fans are. All their fans.
Exactly. We are a little bit. Like, I literally unmatched with someone on a dating app because they slandered Tranquility Base.
Ooh, as you should though, as you should.
Because the thing is
that
is
like, a red flag. That is a red flag. When people don't like that, they didn't give it a chance. They didn't give it a chance. Because I feel like sometimes if you listen to something different for the first time, you're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
But I feel like eventually you will. And how can you not appreciate the time and effort and art that was put into it?
Exactly.
Huh?
I was like, are you dumb? Me too. I will defend that album.
It's not even my favorite album by them, but I will defend it like it is.
It's so good though.
Oh, for sure.
Like, what the hell? And the funny thing is that like people will like complain about Arctic Monkeys not doing like AM Part 2 or whatever, like not repeating a sound when they've never done that.
For real. They've always just gone to the next thing in a smooth progression.
Exactly. Or like they just like take inspiration from whatever is inspiring them at that time, you know?
Which I love.
Exactly. And it's like you never know what you're gonna get from them. And I don't hate a single album from them, you know? Do I like this like one better than the other? Yeah, sure. But I don't hate a single album from them. And I feel like that's why their music is really timeless, because like, you know, because it is so different. But it is a red flag when you get someone that like, you know what else is an artist red flag? Oasis.
Oh, for sure.
Oasis guys are,
oh my god, especially English Oasis
guys between the ages of 18 and 22. 24?
24.
Yeah. Because then after that the brain is fully formed.
You're right. And then they realize Oasis is just okay.
Yeah. And it's always guys that wear like fucking parkas and
they wear
bucket
the bucket hats. Yeah.
And they have the same haircut.
They want to be them. It's
exactly.
So
and they're all like,
this is the best band on the planet. And it's like,
yeah, they look fucking lactose intolerant.
They do.
Those kinds of guys.
Malnourished.
Exactly. And then they're going out drinking like pints of beer that's like the size of that's like bigger than their thin ass wrists.
For real.
They're always like stick thin too.
They're like the dude bros of England.
They are. No, like they literally are.
It really is, because they go to the pubs. They're like,
exactly.
It's just like, it's that subgenre that I'm not into.
Exactly. No, I literally like, there is a genre. No, like Oasis guys are the fucking worst.
For sure. I feel like they used to always battle the Arctic Monkeys guys, and it's like, y'all are fighting the same war.
Like, y'all are cousins.
No, for real.
Oh my god, it's so funny. It's funny because like I've literally all of the superficial red flags and toxic traits I think of are all like things that
you find attractive.
I find attractive.
Yeah, no, me too.
Like jewelry. When a man wears a jewelry.
Do you think it's because we have that like people pleaser thing, or like it's
I don't know. The thing is like these are very superficial. And it's like I don't like them because they're red flags. I just like them because like they're attractive things to me, because I do like Arctic Monkeys. I do like the Strokes, you know, like I do like a certain style. We
appreciate this stuff in a different way.
Exactly. Like it's not a red flag when it comes to us.
It's like they perceive this kind of stuff in a very different way than we do. And
Exactly.
I'm not saying it as a joke. That is like a true fact.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is like I am attracted to these things just because I find them attractive. But I do recognize that there is a certain genre of person that fits within those categories that is a certain way. You know, I do recognize that. And
Yeah.
it's not to say that there's not nice people and like kind people and people that aren't assholes that fit those descriptions. But a lot of
The
them,
majority. It's kind of
yes,
like,
it is a very
come on,
specific type of way.
damn it.
Also, guys that wear chains, like, you know, those like I like to call them. It's like the New Jersey Italian American chain.
Oh yeah, and they wear the wife beater with it.
I can't because
And
like
jeans.
and black boots,
Mm.
but those like heeled ones.
Oh yeah. I think we know someone who fits that.
See, this is what I'm saying, guys. I keep describing people that I'm into.
It is weird that we hate the things we like.
Yeah.
Maybe
No, but
because
it's like,
we've seen the actions of people who are like that.
but
But we've
aren't.
also seen people who act like that who we are attracted to.
Yeah, true. Or it's like we've seen people that dress like that, or like those artists that aren't terrible people from what we can tell. So it's like we're still like, okay, well, yeah, it's like a lot of the people that look like that and dress like that and listen to those artists are that way, but there is hope. You know, like there is hope.
Mhm.
But it's just funny how I'm like, guitar guys are red flags, and then it's like I always end up
Loving a guitar guy.
loving a guitar guy.
Yeah.
I love a musician.
For real. Should we talk about green flags?
Yes.
Okay. I can't even think of one.
I mean, I can think of them, but it's coming up with ways to word them. I
Mm.
think a green flag is someone whose brain is fully developed. I think man, it's really difficult to word it, isn't it? I feel like someone who actually listens to you and asks you questions.
Oh,
I've
for sure.
definitely, I feel like questions is a green flag to me because
Mhm.
I've definitely been on dates where I've been like the subject of the conversation, and then when I would try to be like, okay, well, what about you? Then the person would be like dismissive or something like that.
Or you know
But
what's bad? When you ask a question and they don't ask it back. So you just let
oh
it die.
yeah, or like they don't really like have interest. Yeah, I feel like a green flag is someone who's actively participating in a conversation, and like if you ask them a question, they answer and they're like, oh, what about you? Like if I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
what's your favorite movie and why? And they're like, oh, well, it's this and this and that because I have this memory of watching it with this family member, or oh, it's pivotal because like I watched it with this, it got me through this. What about you? I'm really curious. Like let me try to
Yeah.
guess, you know, like people that are active communicators, you know, that
That
are,
is a green flag.
or active listeners, I guess.
Or
That
when
is
they
a,
remember like what you said in the
oh
past,
my God,
another
yeah.
time they'll bring it
Yeah.
up. It's like, okay, that's nice.
Yeah, or like if you're messaging them and they're like, oh, I remember how you said such and such movie is your favorite movie. Look what I saw today. And it, you know, I think, yeah, someone who actively tries to keep tabs on your interests or follows up on things, and
Mhm.
because then it's like that makes you feel thought of and remembered.
Yeah. Is there music that's green flag music, you think? Or is it all red flags? I think okay.
Listening to music is a red flag. No,
Yeah, no, maybe like men who listen to hyperpop.
like genuinely though, because there's some men that like listen to it because they're like, this is gonna get me pussy, but it's like, no.
I want a man who just loves Charlie XCX so much.
Oh my God, like
Vroom, vroom.
another green flag is someone who is unapologetically confident, not cocky, but unapologetically confident. You know, like
Yes,
someone
yes.
who's like, who may like, specifically when it comes to quote unquote feminine interests. So it's like, let's say some guy likes to paint his nails or likes to wear makeup, you know, that has nothing to do with how he identifies or like the sexuality that he has, but like he just loves to do that. And if someone's like, oh, why do you do that? That's gay. And he's like, well, what the fuck? Maybe I am gay. Who cares? I look fucking fly. You know, like
That is a
someone,
green flag for
exactly,
sure.
someone who is not afraid to
Ooh,
be
but a red
themselves.
flag is someone who does that in order to get the attention from
Yes.
women and
In
people.
order to get like, yeah, in order to get people, specifically like femme-aligned people, to like
Yeah.
sympathize with them, or
Because I
like,
feel like that's such like a trend these days. Like guys will do
yeah,
anything. Like
guys
they
are like,
started
oh,
dressing more alternative to
yeah, or like girls like
trick
feminine guys,
people.
let me put on makeup, let me paint my
Like it's crazy
nails.
how like how far they will go from
Yeah,
themselves to like get that. And it's like,
and then they just cheat
what?
on you
No,
anyway, so it's
literally
like,
that's what I'm saying. Like that is a red flag. I can probably think of more red flags than green flags, and I think that's a problem.
that
Because I
is a
feel like I've
problem.
met less people with green flags than I have with red flags.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like really trying to think of green flags, because
Yeah.
like I'm trying to maintain hope.
Wife beater, jeans, and shit, boots.
You and like KMS.
I
No,
don't
but
know, people
like,
who look into your eyes when they talk to you.
yes, eye contact. I'm a big eye contact person
Me
because
too.
it helps me focus on the conversation. I also tend to look at people's lips when they're talking, and I
Same.
feel like it makes them feel awkward. But
They're like,
I'm
you want
not,
to kiss me right
yeah, but it's like that's not it. I'm just trying to read your lips like subtitles, because I don't know what the
now?
fuck you're
Yeah.
saying. Because I have auditory issues.
No, me too. I definitely have to read lips in order to see what people are saying.
I
It
think
connects my brain better.
another thing is another green flag is in men, I guess, because we're specifically talking about men. But this could go
Either
for
way.
anyone, to be
Anyone.
honest.
Yeah.
Someone who's not afraid to stand up to their friends.
Ooh, you're right.
So it's like, let's say you're with someone that you're interested in, you guys have been talking, and you go out, you meet their friends, and let's say like it's a guy friend or whatever, and they say something that's maybe a little questionable, or something that makes you uncomfortable, or they say something to someone else that makes the other person uncomfortable, and the person you're with, if like, I think a green flag is them being like, hey, like that's not cool, you know, like, yeah, you're my friend, but like that's not shit, that's not cool, you need to not do that. Someone who's not afraid to call out bullshit and
Yeah.
call out bad behavior, even within a friend group, because I feel like there's a lot of guys that are like, oh well, I'm not that way, I'm not that way, not all men. But then
But
it's
then
like,
his bros
yeah,
are like
but
that.
exactly, but are you calling out your friends that are like that? No. Oh, that's my homie, no, I can't do that. Or that's my friend, I can't do that. And it's like, okay, well, like, you still, it's still wrong, even if it's your friend.
For sure.
So yeah, I think that's a green flag. Someone who's not
Definitely.
afraid to stand up and watch out for people, especially femme-aligned people, or
That's
just
true.
like people that aren't men or
Just being a
cisgender men.
decent human being
Literally, we're
is a
just
green flag.
naming
Well, no,
basic, like,
okay, for me, like the bar is so low for decent people. It's just like if you treat another person like a human, that is a green flag for me. Like, even though that is like the bare minimum,
it
it's like
is.
the bare minimum is a green flag because these days it is so hard to find people. It doesn't matter if it's a relationship or a friendship or what, people who treat people like people rather than like
Exactly. And I
something
feel
to
like,
gain or something to
yeah,
do. You know what I
like
mean?
it's so hard, and you like sitting there and you realize, you're like, wow, like that person only wanted to be friends with me to gain something, or to
Right.
meet someone
Or
else,
have a
or
power over someone.
exactly,
That
it's
is the
so
worst.
strange. Like, I remember I used to know someone that um would like do that, you know, and was honest about it. Like, that person would tell me, he was like, oh well, I can't break off a friendship with that person because I'm gonna have to work with them later on, or I don't want to burn bridges. And it's like, bro, we're in college, like you don't even know if they're gonna get hired, you
True.
know. And also it was weird because like the context behind that was that like I had a falling out with these people because they treated me very poorly, and I never asked my friend to break contact with them. That friend just chose to hang out with them
With those people
over
over
me.
you.
Yeah, so I was like, what the fuck, you know? I was
That's
a little
fucked
upset
up.
about that because I'm like, you know how they treated me,
Mm-hmm.
and also I'm your friend. So it was just like bothersome.
Well, that's another thing that shows like who's your true friend, because your true friends will stick with you. Going back to what we were saying earlier.
Yeah. You know what? I thought of another one of my toxic traits.
Oh, let's go for it.
I romanticize people,
Me
especially
too.
people that I care, like that I have attractions to. So it's like I imagine what they could be like, or
You're
I
attracted
take,
to the idea more than the reality.
yeah, and it's like I've been actively trying not to be that way.
It's hard though.
It is, because it's like
Your
I have
brain will naturally do it.
yeah, it is I feel like it's a natural thing that you do because you get so excited by the feelings that you have, and you're like, oh my god, this and this and this can happen, and you know, and you're trying to manifest shit and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you get so caught up in it that, you know, you have to be careful to not let that consume you and to not let that create a narrative in your head, so that, you know, if you ever do get the chance to be with that person, or if you ever do get a chance to become close to them and they don't fit that standard, you're going to be really disappointed and you're going to be
True.
mad at them for that, and
But
that's not fair to them.
Not, yeah, it's not on them.
Yeah,
I can feel that so much. I could probably romanticize the worst day of my life because I romanticize so much. And it's like, it's so hard not to project that on other people.
yeah. And I think that's another thing. It's like I romanticize so much in my life because like there's not really much going on.
Yeah, so your
So it's like,
imagination takes over.
yeah, so I kind of like fall into my head a bit to like make things a little more bearable.
Yeah.
So it's like, but the thing is that it's not even that my life is boring necessarily. It's just that like specifically right now, not much is happening.
Mm,
And I'm a little restless because I wish there was more happening.
true.
And I've taken steps to try to make more happen, but it's like I'm
Your
still,
patience is running thin with that.
exactly. And it's
Yeah.
like these things take time, and you never know what's going to happen, and I'm not in a bad place in life, but it's just I think
You
that's
want more
another,
to be going on.
yeah, and I
Because I
feel
think
like
you were
that,
even saying before, you want a spontaneous life. You want things to just
yeah,
like
I
randomly
want,
happen.
yeah, and it's not even that I just want things to happen to me without me doing any work, because I have done work to try to change my life and to try to do this and do that and see where things go.
Yeah.
But I want a life that I've created for myself, but that is spontaneous and new every day, just at its core, you know? And I think another one of my toxic traits is the fact that I'm impatient and that I'm restless. So it's like I kind of get frustrated and I'm like, oh my God, I give up, you know, because I'm like, I want it to happen now, you know, like I started learning guitar and I'm like, why can't I just be a virtuoso already? You know, like why can't I just know
But
how
it
to
takes
fucking play
time.
it?
It takes
It
time.
does, and it does
Mm-hmm.
take time, and it's like really frustrating because it's like I am someone that loves to learn new things. Like I've been learning new languages and I've been learning guitar, and you know, I love to try new things and learn new things, but I get impatient and I get
Yeah.
restless.
I think
So
it's
it's
funny
like,
that you said that being impatient is your toxic trait, because being too patient is my toxic trait.
yeah, and I feel
Because
like,
I
but
am
I
the
feel
most
like
patient person on the
you
planet.
are. You're literally a fucking saint. You are a
That's just
saint.
me. I'm so patient. I'll give people a chance after chance. I
No,
will just be
literally,
like,
and that's the thing. And I feel like that's one of the many reasons why we're such good friends, because we are so
yeah,
opposite in that section.
yeah.
Because it's like you teach me to have more patience,
And
to
then
chill
you
out,
teach me to
but
like,
then I teach you
yeah,
to be like, no, cut it
realize the
out.
reality and set boundaries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like there are certain people that deserve a second chance if they actually show you that
But
they
there's
want
so
to
many people
change.
who don't.
Exactly.
And that's
And
what
it
I need to
and there's only one second chance, you know? It's not, you
Mhm.
can't give 13 second chances because there's only one second chance.
True.
So it's like I feel like that's one of the reasons why we complement each other very well,
Yeah.
because like
Because we're similar, but then we have these like slight differences that help each other out.
exactly, that we kind of
That's our
complement each
green
other.
flag.
That is our green flag. Oh my god.
That's
teach
our
each other
untoxic trait.
our untoxic trait.
I
That's
feel
our
like actually for our friendship, we have a very untoxic friendship.
oh we
It's
have
very
a
like
yeah.
easygoing. Like I
It's
don't
very
know.
yeah. I definitely feel like because there's been friendships where I felt like the friendship was a performance. Like I had to put I had to like put a role. I had to like
Play a
put a
part.
performance on. Yeah, I had to play a part, and I've had to like, you know, it's felt restrictive or it's been
So
a
there's pressure
lot.
there.
Yeah, there's pressure.
Yeah.
And it's been a
I
lot of my
feel like with
emotions.
us, it's not like that. We can just pick
No,
up where we leave off all the time.
exactly. Like
It's
I
nice
feel
like
like,
that.
and the thing is like the way we talk in these podcasts is like how we talk normally.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like like we can go days without messaging each other or limited messaging, and then we get on FaceTime and we FaceTime for like
It's
hours.
exactly the same. Yeah.
Exactly. Or we see each other in person and it's like we hang out every weekend.
Yeah. Because I feel like we know when we need our own space and then we can come back to each other.
Exactly. And we kind of know each
no,
other.
And we know we don't hate each other secretly.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I
we
mean?
literally
with
don't.
Other people, if someone was like not talking to me, I'd be like, you hate me, but not with you. Like I understand when you need to distance yourself, or like I'm sure you understand when I'm being quiet sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you know, and it's like there are those times where those like behavioral habits come up where you kind of get that blip of like, oh my god, but then it's easy for me to dispel that because I'm like, well, you know, she's never given me a reason to feel that way. You know, this is all on me. Like this thought that I've had isn't because she's done something to cause that. It's because I've had, you know, previous experiences. So it's easy to dispel that because we do have such an easy friendship, which is like that I think is like really important, especially when, you know, you have such difficulties with relationships and like have toxic traits or have people pleasing tendencies. It's good to have someone in your corner that can point out shit that's going on. You know, or that will give you advice.
But there's no pressure there.
Exactly.
That's what I love.
Exactly. And there's no like judgment or anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aww. I could cry.
Me when I cry?
No,
that was cute.
It's so like I love our friendship because it's just
me too. And we've been friends for a very long time. A very long time. Which is like crazy. It kind of hits me because it feels like it hasn't been that long, but also feels like it's been forever.
Also, I can't wait till we can hang out in person again.
Yeah.
I gotta save up some money so I could come up there and be like, we can fuck some shit up. You gotta bring me, dude. You gotta bring me to that bookstore you were talking about earlier. I want to go there so bad.
Maybe for my birthday.
Yes. Oh my god, we could have a bash.
Yes.
A birthday bash.
A birthday bash. We could get all dressed up.
Imagine we could go to the clubs.
Oh, yes, that would be so fun. Wait,
imagine us at the clubs. We have to go to the gay clubs because I feel like regular clubs is not our. I
don't know any gay clubs.
We can find some.
Google.
Yeah. We gotta find the clubs where they only play indie music. We gotta find a speakeasy.
Oh my god, true. I feel like they do have speakeasies in New York.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go.
That's more our speed, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be fun if we got like all dressed up and went to a speakeasy.
Oh my god, it's gonna be so fun. We gotta do it.
Yes. Oh my god. Not us running out of time. We always fill up these episodes.
I know, but it's so fun.
Yeah. We're such chatterboxes.
I know. We never run out of things to say, I feel like.
No. I'm trying to think of, I don't know, do you have anything else to say about toxic traits and red flags?
I feel like we really covered it. We covered it all.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it up then?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us for another week.
Thanks for joining us. Let us know if you have any toxic traits that we didn't mention, or maybe we did mention and you can relate to it.
Or maybe if you have any tips for combating toxic traits or how you've worked on your own toxic traits.
Exactly. Let us know.
Let us know. And let us know what you would do in the instance of dealing with a guitar guy at a party.
Singing a passenger song.
Singing a passenger song, pretending that it's his own, claiming that Do I Want to Know is an underground song. Let us know. Okay. And see you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.